Welcome to Sunrise Spotlight. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It is our pleasure, our honor to do this event every third Thursday of the month. We do it right here at the SLC TV studios. It's free. It's open to the public. We sweeten the pot with a little bit of coffee, as well as some Danish courtesy of PP Cobb right there in downtown Fort Pierce. I want to introduce my co-host, as always. He is the city manager of the beautiful city of Fort Pierce, the one, the only Mr. Nick Mims. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with me on our third Thursday, as we do every single month.
At 2 o'clock, yes.
It comes up fast, though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I know.
Because it's fun.
It is, and
love
we're
it.
anticipating it.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. We noted PP Cobb, the general store right there in downtown Fort Pierce, is who provides our Danishes and our coffee. They're homemade, I want to mention, right there at PP Cobb, and they're fantastic. But we want to get people down here to watch the show with us, to be a part of our studio audience.
Absolutely.
So
we have a great audience today.
we do. We actually had a full house. We had to add some chairs.
We did.
We had to add 2 more chairs to our 12 chairs. It is waiting room only, standing room only. Yeah.
Yes.
Scalping tickets in the hall for Sunrise Spotlight today.
Obviously.
Uh-huh. So, Nick, there's a lot going on. August, we start school back up.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to school.
I just cracked up. What else is
You
going
got
on
the
in
giggles
August?
for school?
Yes.
Was that what you did in school?
No, it just excites me.
Really? Okay.
I was a big school fan.
You were?
Fort Pierce is jumping in August.
It is?
Absolutely.
What do we got going on?
We've got a lot of community engagement and community input meetings.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to do input. What are we going to give input on?
We're going to talk about not only the Sunrise Theater in downtown Fort Pierce. We're going to talk about the King Plant redevelopment, which was a property that was shared and used by the Fort Pierce Utilities Authority.
Yeah,
who's
our sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
And we're going to talk about something else. The
Cheyenne speaking.
The pad.
The pad?
Yes, which is our
Peacock
Arts District.
Okay, the pad. We've got a new name for the Peacock Arts District.
Pad, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The King Plant fascinates me because we went out to RFP. We're going
We
to do it again. We're giving them a little bit more direction because we have an idea of what we want, right?
Absolutely.
And we want to make sure that we pick the right partner. And
yes, I mean, truthfully, the King location is one of the cornerstones of our downtown.
Yeah, it's going to make or break us.
Absolutely. It sits right between Edgartown and our historic downtown area. And it's directly adjacent to the city marina.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of ability to attract a really top-notch developer to develop that land. So we anticipate we're going to get somebody that has the wherewithal and hopefully the financial capability to do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. You got to make sure that they can afford to put in there what we need to have in there. But we want to see someplace where you can do some overnight stays for sure, right?
Absolutely. Well, hotel is probably our primary goal here and objective. And of course, we looked at the residential component. We're looking at the retail component. I just think that the slate is just open, and I do believe that we're going to get something really tasteful for downtown Fort Pierce.
It's a fantastic location.
Yes, it is.
There are few like it left in the nation, really. So hopefully.
Well, it's waterfront property.
It's waterfront property.
Right.
In an already really emerging downtown.
Absolutely.
With the Sunrise Theater, we're going to have new direction at the Sunrise Theater, and you're asking people what they want?
Yes.
Are you asking them, like, what do you want to see?
Well, we're asking all sorts of questions, like what type of content, what type of shows, how many community-based events. We also have the Black Box Theater within the Sunrise Theater.
Yeah.
And that seats about 250 people. So right now, the Sunrise Theater has a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Which is good. We have a lot of interest. We're being contacted by a lot of prospective event organizers. So with the public's opinion, I'm confident that the Sunrise Theater will continue to be an economic engine for downtown.
I can't wait to see what the public says. I always feel like I don't know the public as well as I think I should, but I'm always interested in what they have to say.
Actually, with our last community meeting that we held in June, the public was extraordinarily helpful.
Yeah,
they really gave us some great ideas. We learned a lot. And we're also looking for a youthful component as well. Now, the majority of our responders were between the ages of 55 and 74.
Always are.
But they also stated that we need a more youthful relationship to get the young people involved, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
Can't wait to hear more about
doubt.
it. As time goes on, we'll talk about the study. Well, we have, I want to visit with our sponsor because they have brought us, of course, somebody else from FPUA that we're going to speak with today.
Bodine.
Bodine.
Yes. My man.
Bodine, is it Bo Hutchinson? Not
Yeah.
Why do you call him Bodine?
That's his name.
Is it really Bodine?
Yes.
Is his? Oh, he says no. You're just making stuff up.
Okay. All right. Take it for
But
what
I
it is.
can't wait to visit with him because he brought a great subject for us to talk about today.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what, I don't even know what else you brought us, but I can't wait to find out.
It's going to be a fun show.
All right. Well,
Full
we'll
of fun
find out
people.
after this. We'll be right back,
Absolutely.
everybody.
The Sunrise Theater in historic downtown Fort Pierce, bringing you the best entertainment on the Treasure Coast. This season has been amazing, and there's still so much to see. From Broadway shows to showbiz icons, legends of the stage to rock and roll stars, comedy, and more, the Sunrise has it all. Enjoy everything we have to offer at the beautifully restored, intimate 1,200-seat Sunrise Theater. To purchase tickets or for more information, call the box office or visit sunrisetheater.com today.
Welcome back to Sunrise Spotlight. I'm Teresa Aronson, and I am here, of course, with the one, the only Nick Mims, City Manager of the beautiful city of Fort Pierce. And we are going to visit with our very special guest from our sponsor. Our sponsor, as many of you know, our regular viewers know, is the Fort Pierce Utilities Authority. And from FPUA today, we have Bodine. His face is telling me that that's not right either. I think Nick has ruined it for me.
Sorry.
Bo Hutchinson, how about that?
Yes.
That's close enough.
All right, Bo, you are the Director of Water Wastewater System.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your first name? Let's get it official on the record on TV.
It's Bowden.
Bowden.
Mm-hmm.
You called him Bodine, and then I.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Bodine.
Now you can see why I shortened it to Bo. Makes it a little easier.
I feel your pain because I'm Teresa, but everybody calls me Teresa, so I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bo, you brought us a list. What we're going to talk about today, and this is fascinating, is what not to flush down the toilet, because you're in charge of waste.
I can't.
Nick's going to power through.
We'll get through it. We'll get through
Oh,
it.
boy. All right.
And we're going to skip over number one. I think that's a little.
What's number one?
We don't want to come in that hot. So let's go to number two.
I didn't write it, but it's true.
Who gave that to you?
Pardon the pun. Let's go to number two.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
see,
my
you guys
God.
were a little late to
yes.
the party, but you got there.
That was pretty good.
All right.
That was pretty
All
good.
right.
All
Number two is grease. Grease. I know this. My father was an engineer, and he was very particular about everything we did in the house. And I remember no grease. It
used
clogs
to-
it up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You know, you would be surprised at how hard that grease gets once it cools in
Yeah.
the system. And why is that important? Why do we care? Nick, why do we care? Because
He's gonna make
somebody that's
Nick
paying the bills has to pay to dig the street up to fix that pipe.
And we
And
all pay for it eventually.
we all pay for it. It ends up in your rates, along with
Yes.
everything that's on this very verbose list.
Yes. Oh, very nice word.
It all costs.
Grease, I remember we always had a coffee can that we put the bacon grease in. So that's what you need
Mm-hmm.
to do. Put your grease in a can or in a, your oil bottle, funnel that back in, put it in the
Absolutely.
closet, throw it out once or twice a month.
There you go. That's the best thing. Or if it's bacon grease, put it in your eggs. It's delicious.
And good for you, so I hear.
What's next on the list, Bo?
Next on the list is wipes. Basically cleaning
Misnomer. They
wipes.
always say they're flushable. Guess what? They're not.
Well, I mean, by their definition, my shoe is flushable,
Yes.
but they're not, and they cause a significant amount of problems in the system as well. And we're talking about the the FPUA wastewater system here, but
Yeah.
this goes for everything. And it's actually more important for your home septic system if you aren't on our system,
Right.
because there's not anybody that's maintaining that.
No, and
I mean,
that's not going to break down in your
No.
grinder.
No. In the grinder pump or just in the system. So
Yeah.
it's actually
I live
kind
in
of a
Port St.
problem.
Lucie. It's the same thing. No wipes. You can't put one of those, and you're making a phone call.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You going to chime in? Can you handle it, Nick?
No,
or no?
no.
You're
I see
okay.
the next one on the list.
Oh,
What's the
I'm
next one?
surprised.
I
These
don't
are
have
easy.
the
We're
list.
just going to push through these because this is getting rough.
How did they get you to talk about
Of course,
this, dude?
the dental floss, anything that doesn't biodegrade, don't put down there. Q-tips, cotton balls, that's pretty obvious. Diapers, I don't
Ugh.
know if you could actually get a diaper down a toilet, but
Oh,
evidently
they can.
somebody has
Oh.
because it's on this list.
It can happen.
Yeah.
Pills and pharmaceuticals, that can have a toxic effect down the road as well on the plant.
Yep.
And also once it eventually makes its way back into the environment. And then paper towels and tissues are not made of the same material that the toilet paper is, so that won't break down the way it should either.
Well, you did rock it through those. You were
I
not
was
even
trying.
Just
That's
like,
as
just
fast
get
as I could
through
go.
it as fast as I
Fast as I
possibly
could go.
can.
Mhm.
But
Toilet
it is important to note that toilet paper is totally different in
It is.
makeup than any other
Mhm.
Kleenex, all that stuff. It feels. These two are just gonna have the
I know.
giggles
It's-
on what we left
it's
on
a
an
lot of
island over
education to
here,
talk about
talking
toilet
about
paper, isn't it?
paper towels and pills.
Mhm.
Pills. You can't,
Sorry.
you can't break down pills in the wastewater system, right? So it could end up in the river. It could end up back in the water that you're purifying for.
Depends what they are. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
all mineral and chemical based. So some of them can be processed out and some can't. So at the
Right.
end of the day, they end up back in the environment one way or the other.
All right, I think we covered it quite well. We avoided all the buzzwords on this list that we can't say on TV.
About that one.
I'm not going to use it. I'm not even going to read it. But I do want to say use some common sense, right? Is that too much to ask?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what goes down a toilet. Put that down a toilet and don't put anything
Well,
else.
it tells
That's
me
simple.
right here. Do you want to read to us what goes down the toilet? Nick?
No, I'm good.
No, okay.
I'm good.
All right. So if it doesn't, if it's not toilet paper or come out of the human body,
There you go.
don't put
There
it
you
in
go.
the toilet.
That was a nice little dance around that word
Yeah.
too, wasn't it?
It was a lovely little dance. The audience can appreciate it. Those at home will not be able to. That's why you come down here, because all the fun's had in the studio audience.
What else can you tell us about toilets?
Well,
So
since you bring it up.
you have a guy on
Since I
staff
asked,
just
yeah.
for toilets?
Oh gosh, oh, that's horrible, horrible. Well, I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about some of our storm hardening activities we have going on at FPUA right now.
Oh yeah, it's summertime and
Summertime, right? We are right in the heat of hurricane season. We typically get our hurricanes around here late in the year, as we know.
Yes.
One of the most fascinating projects we have going on right now is installing a 2-megawatt generator over at the wastewater plant on the island, and that'll be large enough to power the entire facility through a storm.
okay.
It's about a $3.5 million project. It also includes some other storm hardening activities with some buildings and things like that over at the plant as well. And we'll have that installed and operational by the beginning of next hurricane season. So
Okay.
it's just too big of a project to get done quickly. But what we have done this year is we brought in a smaller generator. I call it small. It's still the size of a semi. It's a 1 megawatt. And that is hooked up to our deep injection well pump, which is the very end of the system.
Okay.
And so then in the event of a power failure, we'll still be able to put
Functioning.
we'll still be able to put the effluent down the deep injection well and hopefully prevent a discharge into the river.
Okay.
So, and that should solve most of our problem over there now as far as the discharges go. I mean, the other problem is really kind of an act of nature. We can help it, but we can't do much with it. It really has to do with the high flows that we experience during a hurricane. You know, just to put that in perspective, we typically flow around 5 million gallons per day over the plant. During this last Hurricane Irma, we flowed about 17 million gallons per day over at the plant.
And where does that flow come from?
It's all from the rainwater. If
Okay.
the streets are flooded, our system is flooded
It's going
as well.
down the way.
Right, and once it
runoff
gets
system.
below that manhole lid, it's ours. We have to deal with it. We have to treat it just like it's regular wastewater.
Okay.
And obviously, it's more expensive. There's more of it and all that, but just the overwhelming volume is what can get us there.
Let's talk about during a hurricane and after a hurricane when you're at home and you're a resident and the power's out, you want to use the restroom. Can you just fill up the back of the toilet and continue flushing? And
You absolutely can.
Okay.
And just a tip, I know the first thing people do when a hurricane's coming is they run out and they buy like 4 cases of bottled water, right?
Yeah.
And they come and they stack it and, oh, we're ready to go. We've got all the water in the world. But if you're on city water, you already have good quality potable water right there. All you need is a container to store it in.
I
I mean, you can fill up a coolers. You can do your own potable water, use it for cleaning, whatever you need. But also what you were touching on, if you had a 5-gallon bucket full of water that was sitting by your toilet, you can fill the back of the toilet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's worth a good couple flushes, if not 3,
Yep.
depending on how old your toilet is.
Keep flushing.
Absolutely.
People don't realize that, though. They think,
That's
oh,
right.
I can't use the restroom in my house because the power's off, and that's not true.
Now, something that we do ask, as I was saying before, because of the high flows that we experienced during the hurricanes, don't add to it more than you absolutely have to. You might minimize your flushing. That was politically correct, right?
Yes.
And your showers, if you have a teenager that's spending 30 minutes in the shower, well, after 5 minutes, just go turn the hot water off on them and watch them come out, because they don't need to spend that much time in there.
Do you have grinder systems? Is that how it works too? Because the imports at least they have grinder systems. So what happens if you keep flushing, even though you can by filling it, your grinder isn't processing that, and you're going to see a backflow.
There are very few pump systems like that in our service territory.
Okay.
Ours is predominantly gravity
Yes.
system, which it's more reliable. But there are areas where you have to use the grinder pump system, and we actually have an expansion program that we're working on now that can bring more sewer to areas that don't have it now, and that'll be a grinder pump system, exactly like what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay. Good information.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to thank you for bringing this to us. It's a great time of year to talk about that and dancing around all the strikingly obvious words we didn't want to say on TV.
Right.
And giving everybody an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how wastewater works, because I think sometimes you have to reiterate the obvious for the masses. If it doesn't come out of the human body or it's not toilet paper, leave it out of the toilet.
We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, Bo. Thanks for being with us. And we will be right back with our next guest.
When the waves swell, the wind blows, and rain starts to pour, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Did you board your windows, protect your home? Secure loose objects so they won't blow away. Bring large items in and low items up. If you're properly prepared, it will help in a big way. Does your family have a plan? Do they know what to do? Is your emergency kit packed, waiting by the door for you? Just because you're not on the coast doesn't mean you're okay. Heavy winds and flooding can wash things away. When a hurricane is near, you need to stay safe. Turn on the radio. Wait for updates. Only leave your home if told so. Grab your bag and go, go, go. Now, if you're home and the heavy wind blows, get away from the windows, watch out for flooding, and protect yourself. You may be without power for a couple days, but your emergency kit should help you to stay. Once the storm is gone and it's safe to go home, be cautious of what's going on. If water's in your path, you have to turn back. Dangerous electricity and things you can't see can hurt you very badly. So before the waves swell, the wind blows, and rain starts to pour, get prepared, make a plan, and protect yourself each and every way. America's Prepare-a-thon. Be smart. Take part. Prepare. Get started today. Go to ready.gov/prepare.
Welcome back to Sunrise Spotlight. I'm Teresa Aronson. I'm here with my co-host, the city manager of Fort Pierce, Mr. Nick Mims.
Yes, and we have another guest on our show.
We do. You
Yes,
always
we do.
bring me at least a couple guests. Who'd you bring me?
Today, I brought you our code compliance manager, Miss Peggy Arrays. Peggy is working on several initiatives in our city, and one of the ones we want to talk about today is a brand new initiative that we call our Clean and Safe Community Initiative.
Clean and Safe Community Initiative. That
Yes.
is not enough words. Peggy, welcome. And Peggy's also a leadership graduate.
She is.
Yes.
Class of 27.
Yep.
The best
yep.
class.
Always.
Every class is the best class.
You're what class were you?
2-5.
2-5. I was 2-4. So yes, we love our leadership grads.
Yes.
Tell us about the clean
She'll
something.
explain.
Yeah. Very good.
It's the Clean and Safe Initiative, which we call CSI, because it is a lot of words. And it was based off of a program out of Austin, Texas, that they're the ones that initiated it. And what they did was they took a small little fee that is applied to every utility customer, and they used that money, those funds, to do different things throughout the community that make your community better.
Okay.
And that's the reason why it's on a utility bill, is because the impact that the projects do impact the whole community. It's not a tax-based program. It's not just property owners. It's everybody, your businesses, your tenants plus your homeowners in the city, they all get the benefit from the projects that we do.
And is it a new fee on your bill?
It is new. It is $1.
It's $1. Okay.
$1.
$1.
Yes.
A month.
A month on every utility bill.
Okay.
And with that $1, we are able to make improvements throughout the community that make it safer. And what we've focused on at this time is the abandoned buildings that have been burned up and destroyed, and we're taking them down.
Good.
So it's no secret that we suffered some financial difficulties during the bust years.
Yeah, the recession hit us all hard.
It hit us all hard. And one of the budget items that got hit was the demolition budget.
Yeah.
So for many years, we didn't bring down any houses.
Okay.
And so now we have these houses that are abandoned, the windows are broken, and they become what's called an attractive nuisance. So kids are going in them, vagrants are going in them, there's crime associated with them. My biggest complainer is the police department, because there's no utilities, so these houses are dark at night.
Yeah.
When you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you want someplace dark. Well, now the police are getting called, and they have to run through these buildings that have glass on the floor, full of debris, in the dark.
Yeah.
So it becomes a safety issue for the police also.
Now, the owners of these people, the owners of record, oftentimes they're foreclosed. Do you put the demolition charges, are they then added to the taxes? How does that work?
That's a good question. A lot of these properties are owned by people who have just walked away.
Okay.
We have many properties where the bank started that foreclosure process, but then they said, never mind, we're not going to foreclose.
We don't want it, yeah.
The owners have already gone. The banks don't want it, and so it's kind of in limbo, but it's in the property owner's name still. Plus, we have some that are owned by businesses that went out of business. We had a lot of investment businesses come in, buy up properties. They unfortunately experienced the same recession everyone else did, and they went out of business, and they no longer take care of these properties. So,
you know, Teresa, I'm sorry to cut you off, Peggy, but you know, Peggy and I have actually gone out in the field, and one of the most, things that touch you the most is when you go out and you talk to an elderly lady that's fearful of her neighborhood because she's got an abandoned house next to her that, you know, folks are doing illegal activities. She's scared, she's fearful, there's overgrown vegetation. So this program provides the necessary funding to clean up our neighborhoods, provide that safety and comfortability that the people are looking for. And it actually helps the community.
it absolutely does, because there's different parts to it. We're going to cut the grass. If it's a building that does not need to come down, we're going to secure it. We're going to board it up, and we have a new initiative with clearboarding. It's becoming very popular.
Yes.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac now clearboard all their properties. So they use a clear polycarbonate on the windows. It secures them, but it allows you can see.
Right.
And you can't see it from the street. It doesn't look like it's boarded up, so it doesn't look like the abandoned property because it's got the boards on the windows. You know.
And when that happens, and with the land, what's the long-term plans for these properties?
Another good question.
Oh, well, let me talk on that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, truthfully, what we want to do, this is all about neighborhood sustainability.
Right.
For years and years and years, the city of Fort Pierce has been knocking down properties.
Right.
We've been clearing properties, but we haven't inspired any type of redevelopment.
Right.
Now, finally, we're getting into the redevelopment business. If we have to foreclose on these properties, then that's exactly what we're going to do.
Good.
We'll foreclose on these properties. We'll either sell them to an interested developer, or we'll find and recruit a developer that can come in, build an acceptable residential unit, whether that's a home, a tiny house, or something else. We like tiny houses.
I was going to say,
I gotta
City
check
of
one
Fort
out.
Pierce has tiny houses, because you can't do that in Port St. Lucie. It's got to be 1,200 square feet.
We're going to go tiny.
I love it.
We're going to have the tiny house village.
I love it.
Yes. But actually, like I said, the most important thing is we want to revitalize our neighborhood.
Okay.
Because we've been neglecting that aspect. We can't keep tearing down and removing and not investing back in our community. And that's exactly what this program is going to help us spur along.
And that's what I wanted to hear, because
Yes.
it's one thing to get rid of these blighted properties, but it's
Yes.
another to turn them into something that we
Yes.
can all be proud of.
Absolutely.
What an amazing, amazing initiative. How many houses do you guys think you'll bring down this year?
Well,
Okay.
it's a good question. We just started the process. Of course, we had to put the whole process in place. It's a new program, so we
Brand
had to establish all our protocols.
Right.
The first 4 houses have just come down,
Wow.
and I'm expecting if we're looking at the end of the year of December, I'm expecting another 2 rounds of 4, so another 8 houses to come down, which is a major improvement over the prior years.
Yes.
And it should make a very positive impact on the neighborhood, because when, again, what Mr. Mims said, repeating him, it really makes the neighbors are the ones that are calling in because of the activity that's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
From the tall grass, and you have the snakes and the rats that are coming over.
Of course.
The-
And we live in Florida, the June bugs. I'll politely say June bugs when we all know they're just part of the roach family. But in tall
I
grass,
didn't know what a June bug was.
it's a roach.
Okay.
Palmetto bug.
Okay.
Palmetto bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to hear about this program, and
Yes.
hopefully when you get to the point where you have properties, that maybe we can help with the business aspect of it, trying to get some people to invest in the community. Because I think most people are proud of their neighborhoods, and it makes it hard when you can do nothing about the things that make it unseemly. Great idea. Whose idea was that? Yours?
It was collective. It's a city
Okay.
idea. I
All
can't
right.
take credit for it.
Well, thank you for bringing that to us, Peggy. We really appreciate it. All right. Okay,
Thank you,
we'll
Peggy.
be right back, everybody, with our next guest. I'm trying to go fast today.
Come check out the new Indian Hills, where our player-friendly course appeals to all ages and abilities. With improved course conditions and superior drainage, we are rarely closed. Our friendly staff is here to assist you with instruction, club repair, or outings. The link-style design and natural elevation changes provide a fun, yet unique layout that you'll surely enjoy day after day. So make your reservation today, and we look forward to seeing you on the first tee.
Welcome back to Sunrise Spotlight. I'm Teresa Aronson here with Nick Mims. He
Yes.
has brought yet another guest for
Another
us.
guest.
I'm excited.
Yes. I'm
What do
very
you got?
excited. I'm very excited. This is her first appearance on the Sunrise
I knew what you
Spotlight.
meant.
Yeah. This is our assistant city engineer,
Very
Hello.
good.
the ace, Tracy Telly.
Tracy, welcome.
Thank you so much.
What is your specialty?
my specialty? We do.
Engineering,
Well,
obviously.
There's like 1,000 types of engineering.
we do several roadway improvements, parks,
Infrastructure.
drainage.
She's
Okay.
not a
Yes.
toilet engineer.
She's a
No.
city engineer.
That's Bowden.
That's
That's Bowden's.
Yeah.
Bo's in
Yes.
charge of
Responsibility.
potties.
Yes, he is.
And you're in charge of roads.
Roads,
Yes.
drainage. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very
Now, today,
drainage.
you know,
too.
we've been hearing, you know, there are some concerns about the quality of the water along the Treasure Coast.
Ugh, I
There are
hear it all the
some serious
time.
concerns.
I don't know why.
But the most wonderful thing about the city of Fort Pierce is we are situated in one of the most pristine locations. And our water is one of the highest and top qualities in the state of Florida.
We are very lucky here. We happen to be in a pocket of very
Yes.
clean water. We
Yes.
have no discharge.
Right.
And Taylor Creek is just practically spring water coming
Right.
down.
Of course, there's, you know, a little bit of deposits in Taylor Creek,
Yeah.
but it's not above the norm.
No.
Right.
No.
And-
Our water's safe
right.
to swim in.
Yes.
You can eat our fish.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you can. Now, Tracy's here today.
Okay.
She's going to talk to us about some of the stormwater quality improvements that she's been working on. She's a tremendous project manager,
Okay.
and I'm going to let her speak for herself.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay.
This ties into Bo though a little bit. You
You know,
No,
I have
no.
worked with Bo
see?
on several projects,
Yeah.
and FPUA and the city work.
Because you
quite
figure
well
out how to get
together.
the water to Bo, right?
Yeah, especially when during, we can lift those manhole covers, and drain the roads and stuff.
That's not what we're supposed to do.
No.
It's not?
No.
No, we don't
So
do
don't
that.
say that. No. No.
She agreed with
We
me.
don't do that.
No, we do much more important work
Okay.
than both.
Yes. So when I found out about this lovely show here, and I started going back through some of the projects that we've been involved with, that we try to do projects that can remove sediments and improve the quality of the Indian River Lagoon. I think the first one that I could think of was our South Beach Baffle Box project. We have existing outfalls that discharge into the Indian River Lagoon, and we've retrofitted those outfalls with double and triple chambered baffle boxes.
What's a baffle box?
Okay.
I knew you were going to ask that.
I don't
It
know.
removes,
Right.
there's several components of a baffle box. Right. We have the screens on top that catches the leaves, so they don't
filter.
break. Yes. Removes sediments.
Yep.
It goes through 3 different changers. We have bleeders. We have baffles. So it cleans the water, helps to settle out suspended solids, nitrates, phosphorus. So we try to. I think we've about got all of our outfalls in the city retrofitted with those baffle boxes.
She talks like an engineer.
I know. That's her world. That's her world.
I know.
Yes.
And then
I'm going to translate. It's a filter.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
And I almost brought a picture of one because I figured that would come up, but I didn't.
We can have one on the show.
Okay.
All right. And in this context, what is a baffle? Like, because you said it has baffles on it.
Well, it does.
I don't know what a baffle is. I'm baffled by the baffles.
It's like a weir. It's a concrete. You don't know what a weir is.
Yeah, what's
Can
a
you
weir?
help me?
Okay, look. Let me break this down. Okay.
Can you translate?
Okay, here it is. You got a pipe full of stuff.
Okay.
The pipe goes in a box, right?
Okay.
All the stuff flows into the box, and out of the box comes out clean water.
Yeah, but which part of that is the baffle?
The baffle is the box.
Oh, the whole box is the baffle.
The box is the baffle.
Or do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because that's my boss.
Just break. Okay. All right. So clean stuff comes out.
Of the baffle box.
Yeah. Yes.
I got that part, but she said it was fitted with a baffle, and I thought, what is this baffle thing? Okay, I'm good. We can move on from baffles.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
It's a box. Got it. You know you were all thinking it, though, too.
My next project, and I even have some data for you because we got done doing our annual testing of this system, is our Veterans Memorial Park.
Oh.
Downtown Fort Pierce.
Yeah.
Now, the Veterans Memorial Park, we have 2 influent storm drainage pipes that discharge, I think, 44 acres of upland area into this park. And it used to just discharge untreated into the Indian River Lagoon.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Now, we have put in all these components into the system. The first thing is we have a control structure which diverts that water, directs it into a bioswell, which is, let me explain a bioswell.
You got all this?
I need more schooling.
It's a slow-moving swell where the water's slowed down. It has a gravel bottom. It has plants that absorb nutrients and stuff from the water. Right. So it slows the water down, gives it time to treat in there for solids to settle out. Suspended
kind of like
solids.
how your septic system works.
Correct. Yeah. Then once that water in that bioswell reaches a certain level, then it's discharged out another control structure.
Okay.
Where it then goes into our retention lake, a retention lake.
And where's the retention lake? Is that the new lake at Veterans Memorial?
That's the new lake.
Right.
Which those fountains are not only pretty, but they serve a purpose because they bring in oxygen into that water, which helps dissolve nutrients and phosphorus and everything like that.
Which reduces algae?
We don't have any algae.
Well, I mean, but you can grow algae in any stagnant body of water, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, but it's never there because we have fountains, so it's not stagnant, so we won't get algae. But you're right, we don't have the algae that you're talking about from Lake Okeechobee.
That's right.
And most of the time, except for very, very heavy rainfall events, that water is going to stay in that lake.
Okay.
Heavy rainfall events, then the water will get to a certain level, and then it's reintroduced into the discharge pipe.
Okay.
So, and then we also have pervious pavers on this project, and pervious paver sidewalks, which lets any kind of runoff from the parking area and the roadways seep into the ground.
Seep into the pond. Yeah. Very good. Do things live in that pond, or are you going to have some
We
wildlife?
do have some ducks in that pond.
A lot of ducks in the pond.
A lot of ducks.
You're going to have fish before
Yeah.
too
I've
long,
seen some
I
frogs.
Yeah. Some tadpoles. All right, we got it. The frogs, tadpoles, they're all the same, but yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful project that you guys just completed this year. And what else are you working on for wastewater? Because this is all about draining. Stormwater. Sorry, the wastewater isn't going back to Bo. Same day, stormwater, wastewater.
I know.
All right.
Well,
I went to school for journalism. It's not helping me today.
Well, we've been very fortunate to be able to obtain some federal funds to stabilize our canals, widen our canals, which will reduce solids from entering because it all discharges into the lagoon at some point. So I think that's like a $4 million project. So we're working on that right now, and construction just started on those projects in about a month.
Yeah.
During August.
Yep.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go.
During this month.
Yes, the month of August.
Yes, there. It's August, remember.
Well, we've had a lot of community partners, Teresa.
Yep.
Whether it be the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, South Florida Water Management District. We always work with the FPUA on every project. That's why Bo and I always get into it.
Because you know each other well. You're old friends.
We know each other very well. He complains, and I just yell back.
And you both grew up here, so I'm sure you've known each other for a long time.
We're Fort Pierce boys, and we know how to interact with each other.
Of course.
But we're okay. But we have great partners. The Natural Resource Conservation Service. They've recently awarded us over $2 million to fortify and armor our canal system. So I believe that Fort Pierce is on the cutting edge. We have done more in stormwater quality than I think any of our neighbors. We care about the lagoon and all of our water bodies, and we're really making great strides.
Yeah, the lagoon is important to us. The river is a huge economic driver for this area, especially in Fort Pierce.
Yes.
That's where you can get on the beach if you want to go in St. Lucie County, and a lot of water businesses are located up there. But it is important to know, you can't drive this fact home enough that we don't have discharge directly into our Fort Pierce area. Yeah. So our waters are crystal clean. Doesn't mean St. Lucie County is not affected, especially in our southern areas, but in Fort Pierce, we're relatively unaffected by the discharges.
Well, we can always say that, but we can never be content.
No.
We always have to continue to push and push and push to do more and to make sure that our marine-related commerce is thriving. And the way we do that is to keep our water bodies clean. So it's a priority of ours, so we're going to continue that movement. Because
what does come down to Taylor Creek is, of course, fertilizer and septic, and during the rainy season, that probably picks up a bit. So you do have to be diligent.
Yes.
And we thank you for, because it sounds like you are diligent and an expert in your field.
She is.
So I know I'm convinced, and I appreciate everything that you do for the city, because people don't really understand what makes up a city. You don't just clear land and build a house. There's infrastructure, and stormwater is huge. That's why that's on our tax bill as well. Stormwater every year, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Because you got to keep it up, otherwise we'll all be swimming to work every day, right?
True.
All right, in clean water.
And clean water.
Thank you for bringing that information, and thank you for coming on the show, because I know Nick said you were a little hesitant.
No, she loves it.
But you did great. Thank you so much for being with us.
We
appreciate it. And we will be right back. We're going to bring Cheyenne up. We're going to do a little bit of trivia. We've got some prizes for our guests, so stay with us.
All right.
When the clouds form, the rain pours, and water is all around, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Did you raise your utilities, appliances and such? Install a sump pump, clean the drains, just in case it decides to rain. Do you know your risks? Have you checked the local plans? You should cover your property with a flood insurance policy. Is your emergency supply kit packed? Is your family prepared? Do they know what to do, where to go, and how to stay safe? Because when the water starts to rise, you must act quickly and be wise. Turn on your radio, listen for updates, and if authorities tell you to go, hurry up and do so. Get to safe ground, go as high as you can, do what you need to do, but don't put yourself in harm's way. Just inches of water can sweep you away. Once the water is gone, move carefully. Be on the lookout for dangers you can't see, animals, debris, and electricity. Do not go home until you hear the all clear. Now when you get home, be aware. Not everything is as safe as it may appear. So before the clouds form, the rain pours, and water is all around, get prepared. Make a plan and keep yourself dry. Get started today. Go to ready.gov/prepare.
Welcome back to Sunrise Sunrise Spotlight. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. We do this event every third Thursday of the month. It's at 2 p.m. It's free. It's open to the public. It's right here at SLC TV Studios. We throw in coffee and Danish courtesy of PP Cobb. It's sponsored by none other than our great friends at the FPUA, Fort Pierce Utility Authority. And it's co-hosted by this guy, Mr. Nick Mims, the city manager of Fort Pierce. And he brought along our marketing and PR expert for the city of Fort Pierce, the one, the only Cheyenne Helms. Welcome.
Thank you.
We were talking during the break about Seven Gables House. Seven Gables House is operated by the Chamber. It's a partnership that we have with you, but it's owned by by the city of Fort Pierce.
Yes.
And we are doing we've done a grand opening because we're now booking excursions, activities, and tours out of Seven Gables. We've talked about that in the past on the show. And I had told you I'm kind of redesigning it so that we can get back in touch with the history of the actual house itself. So funny story, we had our golf tournament in July, and I was talking to Bill Knight and Mike Rice, longtime business owners here, and I said we're doing an ode to the taxidermist. It was a brothel and it was a taxidermist.
Well, there you go.
And at that table, sitting with him, was the son of the actual taxidermist.
Oh.
Such a small community, the Regal family, and they donated the house to the city of Fort Pierce back in '94, and they're going to be with us. They're partnering with us as we move forward with the house, and we're going to dedicate a plaque to them. And the Slay family is a part of it. We're going to do some more bigger displays for the Slay family who built the house.
Okay.
And we're excited about it. So I have some trivia questions about Seven Gables. We're really we're going to make that a very Seven Gables history house. It's going to make sense. So I have a question, and my first trivia question for anybody in the audience, and it is a free oil change at AMCO. Any AMCO, you can, oh no, I'm sorry, the Fort Pierce location. How fitting. AMCO oil change. If somebody in the audience can tell me, why is the Seven Gables house called the Seven Gables house? It has seven gables, obviously. Now, why does it have seven gables? Who wants to tell me? Anybody want to tell me? Nobody wants to tell me. Nobody knows? It's a hard one.
Inform us, yes.
Inform
I
us.
thought it had seven gables.
Me too.
It does have seven gables.
That's why it's called the Seven Gables
It is
house.
called Seven Gables, but why does it have seven gables?
Does he have seven children?
7 daughters. Very good,
me.
Cheyenne. There's 7 daughters in the Slay
you
family.
You don't get this. You don't
No,
get this.
you know. I don't
don't
want
get this.
You have to claim it if you work for the government. There's 7 daughters, 7 Slay sisters, and they did a gable for each sister.
Well, that's
And
really
for
cool.
many years, Elodie, who started Chuck's Seafood with her husband, was a volunteer at the Seven Gables house for us.
Oh.
She's over 100 now. She celebrated her 100th birthday last year, so she doesn't volunteer with us anymore, but she did.
That's okay.
All right, so that trivia question didn't pan out, but those are the
try another
things
one.
that I want people to know going forward.
Very cool.
We talked about what the Seven Gables house was, so let's try again. There's only been 2 businesses and the Slay family and the Seven Gables house, and now the Chamber of Commerce, where we're operating or booking tours and excursions and activities, so head on down. So, Gary, do you want to tell us what well, wait for the microphone, but there were 2 businesses in that, and we are doing a display for both.
Well, first it was a brothel,
It was.
and then it was a taxidermist.
Yes, which both of those things fascinate me.
They
So-
are.
So wait a minute, you telling me it was first it was built and then it was a brothel?
No, first the 7 sisters lived
Oh,
there.
okay.
Sans brothel. I don't want
Okay.
to start rumors.
No.
The
Okay.
Slay sisters did not operate the brothel.
Okay, okay.
Then
All right.
it was sold to a lovely lady, and during the war, there were a lot of ships that came in here, and so it was very popular with the
Popular
with the Navy. So we had a
Well,
brothel.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So we have a tasteful G-rated display to highlight the brothel. So yes, you'll have to come and check it out.
Hey, it's part of our history.
It's part of our history, and I think it's fascinating.
Yes, it is.
And then, of course, the taxidermist, Bob Regal was the taxidermist, and they did only fish. Gary, you're going to get an AMCO free oil
Did
change.
Gary raise his hand? Or
He
did you-
did, and then he got
Oh, okay.
Did you
All
miss
right.
all that?
Oh, I didn't see it.
The mic, and you said you had a trivia.
I do.
All right. Is it?
They're never great either, but Here we go. No,
We
this
gotta
isn't
be
bad.
better
This
than
is a good one.
tourists.
Tracy just, our topic of discussion today was the Indian River Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone tell me how long the Indian River Lagoon is? What is the length of the Indian River Lagoon?
Oh, you better price this right. That nobody knows. You don't walk
This
around
is-
that kind of
Jan
knowledge.
knows. Yeah, people know this. People should know this because it's
Really?
a part of like the long. I don't know. Yeah, you should go to the Smithsonian and hear all about this because they talk about how it's part of the longest barrier island group in the United
It is.
States,
Yeah,
and it has
you're right.
It is.
4,000 plus species in it. It's a very diverse estuary. How long is it? Anyone want to guess?
Nobody's-
Miles?
Peggy?
Can we do an?
Close. Higher.
All right. So Gary guessed 134, but it's higher.
It's higher,
but close.
but very close.
So don't guess 1,000.
Don't.
All right. Who else wants to guess?
Peggy?
Closer.
140 is close.
We can just say it. That
Okay.
can win. 156 miles.
156
I was
miles.
thinking that, actually.
You were thinking
I
156
was actually
exactly?
thinking 155. I was truly thinking that. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
very good. 156 miles of the river.
That is a good question.
That's a
People need
great
to know
question.
that because our Indian River Lagoon is really what makes Fort Pierce so special. One of the many reasons why we're so
Yes.
special, and our water is beautiful and clear. And we hope y'all come out on it. And I have one more question. We just had
Well,
our...
let me tell them what they're.
Oh, are they winning the pen?
Yes.
I should have won the pen for the Gables.
The pen is
The pen
awesome.
is cool.
This is from ACOG Funeral Homes and our
Peggy.
good friend Richard Bledsoe, who's an
Come get the
ambassador.
pen.
But this pen is
That's a
not
cool
just a
pen.
pen; it's actually a
That's
screwdriver
cool.
It is,
cool.
and it's
It
a
is.
level.
ruler.
And it's a screwdriver.
and a level, and
I
I
want
love
that
it.
pen. Peggy's coming up to claim it right now.
Peggy's coming.
Come on down.
Okay,
There
well
it is.
then we have no more tricks. She really
Oh, we
won
have-
that pen.
then we're
that
done.
pen is pretty,
Wait a minute, we
pretty
got-
cool.
We have one more question?
We got one more question.
One more question.
Okay.
Do you
One
know
more
what it is? Because
No.
maybe
I
all right,
just make these up
this
as
is
we go.
always
all right,
a surprise.
you
So-
and I will.
we can
We'll
participate.
Try to get,
Yeah.
okay, hopefully you get
We'll
this one.
buzz in.
I'm going to get it.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
Keep Fort Pierce Beautiful just installed a number of sanitation covers. So this also ties into our FPUA discussion, the manhole covers. They are beautifully painted by our local artists, and they're gorgeous.
Buzz.
Everyone is different. Can anyone tell me what street these manhole covers are on?
Oh,
Yes,
Very
that's
good.
right. So
Yes.
Orange Avenue from US 1 to Indian River Drive on both sides of the road. Beautiful, unexpected pieces of art right in our sidewalk. And you get an oil change.
Yep.
I already gave you oil change to Gary.
Oh, you get
You really should pay attention to the show.
Well, it was still here.
You get
I
an
know, you
IOU.
said that'd come up in the
That's
middle
what
of
you
the
get.
show. There you go, an IOU from the city of Fort
That's
Pierce.
right.
All right. Okay.
Wow, this is
He
a
wants
low budget show.
We only had one pen.
Okay.
And nobody else gets one. And one
Why
oil
did you
change
give away the
and one
coupon?
pen. I gave it away. Gary won it. There's
This is-
another pen.
Do we have? There we go. We have
All
a pen.
right, very
Thank you,
good.
Flynn. Flynn
Flynn
with the
to the
pen.
rescue.
And with that,
Good job. Good
Aw.
job.
Not even the special pen.
no, it's the special pen.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Okay. Flynn gave up
All
his
right.
special pen.
Thanks, Flynn.
Thank you.
Flynn's awesome.
All right. It is the bubble. I
Why
couldn't see
why
it.
doesn't next time the UA should bring some prizes?
They're already the sponsor. I'm good
Well,
with them.
they can do a
They're
little,
they're
they can do a
pulling their
little more.
weight.
They can do a little more.
All right. Well, I want to thank all of our guests for being with us today. Peggy, Tracy, and of course Bo. Who knows?
Bowden.
Bo knows. No, not
No,
Bowden.
we're not. It's Bo.
It is Bowden.
It's
Just Bo.
Bowden,
Just
yeah.
Bo.
All right. Bo knows.
Bo knows
Bo knows.
what not to flush down the toilet.
He does.
Sorry, Bo.
And thank you to thanks to Cheyenne and Flynn, not only for working the cameras here but giving up his pen today. He went the extra mile. And of course Mike and my co-host PP Cobb for
What?
mixed it up. PP Cobb and my co-host, the City of Fort Pierce, and always FPUA. Thanks to the studio audience for
Yes.
being with us today. I
Thank you.
appreciate everybody coming down. And we will see you next month, third Thursday, 2 o'clock, SLC TV studios right here at the corner of 25th and Virginia. Till next time, everybody.
Okay. Very good.